10:30 at night on a Monday, October the 21st, 2024, out here in the Ashtoons camper. Cats are running around. That's why I got two, so they would chase each other around. Okay, he's wiggling the camera. And I am holding in my hand a sealed DVD release of the 1939 classic known as Gone with the Wind, set at the very end of the Civil War in Atlanta. And this is the 70th anniversary release. Apparently this movie won a lot of awards. And growing up, my name being Ashley, in the suburbs surrounding Atlanta, I had to hear about this movie a lot and see a lot of its merchandise and paintings and decorations everywhere. And a lot of people just kind of assumed that I was named after apparently one of the love interests in this movie, who would always look at me and go, "Ashley, oh Ashley," like that was supposed to mean something to me. I found it kind of annoying. And for some reason, I have been avoiding watching this movie. But today, I am finally going to break this seal and watch this movie. Now, confession time. Part of the reason why I've never watched this movie is because I always figured that eventually I would have a fiance that I could watch it with, seeing as this is really kind of a chick flick. But being as I am about 4 months away from turning 44, I think I have aged out of such silly notions. And it's time for me to never put those kinds of restrictions on myself ever again. Oh. Okay, so it took 2 DVDs, just like it took 2 VHSs to contain it. A 1939 movie being played on a Xbox One almost seems a little silly, too. Right. Well, I will see you at the end of the movie. Well, it is the next morning now. And the movie's finally over. Well, first off, let me say, I don't think I've ever watched a movie with a more unlikable main character. Scarlett was terrible. She was self-absorbed, arrogant, and selfish. Incredibly selfish. But somehow capable of love. Very deep love. She used that to motivate her to do a lot of really good things. And the characters were complicated, very complicated. Very sophisticated story. And not the ensemble cast I thought that it would be. You know, the impression I got growing up, people talking about this movie, that it was a gigantic ensemble of characters, but really it was Ashley, Rep, Scarlett, Melanie, and Mammy were pretty much the main characters. Was that 5? And everybody else was very small supporting roles, and somehow the drama between them kept you captivated for the entire 223 minutes, always wondering what was going to happen next. It had everything. It had love, life, birth, death, betrayal, bad guys, good guys, and it was great. It was great in that sense. And I found myself, well, I won't say relating to, but wanting to be more like Rep than relating to Ashley. Ashley was a little bit manipulative, let's be honest, but at the same time, he was pragmatic and objective. And, but Rep, though, Rep was your quintessential bad boy that saw things the way they were, was able to stand on the outside and see the situation with clear vision and even see what was going to happen next and able to predict things just because he removed his attachments and his loyalties and just saw things the way they were and worked situations to his own profit, which he got a lot of profit out of what he was able to do, being a smuggler and a line runner. But near the end, though, he was kind of ashamed of himself and tried to, well, I don't want to give away too much. Yeah, as much as he was able to see things the way they were, he, at the same time, had this optimism that he stubbornly rested on to his own detriment. And I think if he had remained completely unattached and seeing things the way they were, that he had a power of doing, he would have kept himself out of, well, let's just say it, Scarlett's clutches, the manipulative, arrogant lady that she was. It was a great story. It was fantastic. I totally recommend it, and I really wish I had watched this earlier in my life. I do. I wish I had watched this in my 20s. It given me a little bit better of an understanding of human behavior and the way that women think, because this story was written by a woman. And as far as I understand, it was her only real notable book that she ever wrote. And when I say notable, I mean very notable. It was loved by a lot of people and done justice in this movie with a very large budget for its time. It was great. And I do recommend watching it. Also, something you probably never heard before, I think it was in the 70s, there was a miniseries made that was just called North and South. It was also adapted from a novel. But if you were to watch that miniseries, because it ends right at the beginning of the Civil War, if you watch that miniseries and then immediately watch Gone with the Wind and kind of consider them a continuing story, because the timelines meet up and one flows into the next. And then Gone with the Wind ends actually years after the end of the war. I didn't realize that was going to be the case, with their struggles with the North trying to punish them with higher taxes and the carpetbaggers buying up all the resources and land, and the drama behind all that. Yeah, if you were to watch North and South, and then immediately after that watch Gone with the Wind, they flow one into the next. Something else in Gone with the Wind is that it really puts it right into your face to remember and recognize that this takes place at the same time as the Victorian age over in Great Britain. And yeah, the styles and the decor was so excessive, over the top. I mean, couch cushion backs that went all the way up the wall, gigantic dresses that could barely fit through doorways, so impractical. But that's just the nature of decor and style. It just, one family or person tries to outdo the next and make it bigger and bigger until things become crazy, you know, and eventually things just, you know, they are done away with and something else is brought in. But at that period, the gigantic hats, the huge hoop skirts, the frilly decor around door frames and arches, and all of that was just so excessive and over the top. And it really lets you know. And a lot of it was very beautiful in its own way. All right, I'm going to stop talking about it. That's my opinion on the movie. I finally saw Gone with the Wind. All right, before I let you go, let me remind you once again, it doesn't matter who you are, how bad you've messed up. As long as you're still breathing, there is still time to get your heart right with God. And there's a lot of peace that comes over you once you finally do that. A lot of the turmoil and stress and anxiety you have in your mind starts to quiet down once you finally make friends with your Creator. He stands at the door and knocks, loves you, and wants a relationship with you, but he will not force his way in. He waits for you to answer the door and let him in. And I encourage you to do that. That's going to be it for this one. Look forward to seeing you in the next one.